Blim. So we are live, apparently.
We should.
Yeah, more alive than ever. All right, so for this live stream, we want to create an environment. Hopefully, we want to create something nice and have fun along the way, while showing some tricks here and there that you can use inside Unreal Engine 5 to create environments. So if you have any questions or anything, just let us know in the chat. Ram is with me, our programmer who is trying to learn hard how to do art.
Hello. More than learn, just understand. It really helps with communication, knowing some of the terminology that the artists use. So yeah, like learning, understanding, or learning to understand.
Yeah, so if we manage to make you create an environment that doesn't look like JoJo, we we have accomplished our mission.
Yeah, uh, real success if that happens.
All right, so for this environment, I will be using a Unreal Engine 5 because it's awesome, and why not? And we're gonna create a cave. Not surprisingly, a lot of people are creating cave with Unreal Engine 5 because we have a lot of assets. So we are going through some cool things to show, not only in Unreal but maybe outside Unreal, and some cool blueprints we can use to create our environments faster. So um, let's get started. I have the default map here created, and file, new level, and then just choose a time of day so that we can have something. And I'm just gonna delete some of those things here. And I'm having my reference on on the other on the other monitor. Actually, the other computer. That's why I cannot share it. But it's basically a cave from Vietnam, and I'll be using that as a reference. I'll put a link in the description later. But I think one of the hardest thing, at least for me, when I start an environment, is like when it's empty, I feel a little bit intimidated and I don't know where to start. So the best thing I can do first is block out the big shapes of the environment, let's say the surroundings, and then I can know when it's about to finish. And by doing that, I don't have this big space where I have unlimited possibilities to create an environment. So if I'm gonna use my third person game mode to just play here in my game. Oh, let me delete some assets, blueprints I had here for the blueprint Quixels. This Quixel blueprints, I tried to use them. Are actually available for 4.26, and I tried to copy them, but unfortunately it didn't work out. So I have my own blueprint for creating ropes. We may use it later. So the first thing I want to do is to create a floor here. And to do that, I'm going to use my modeling tools. If you don't have the modeling tools, just click on Edit, Plugins, and then click on Modeling Tools. Here, Modeling Tools Editor Mode. And where we are going to create a floor here. So, very easy. We're just going to this mode, activate modeling tools, and then let's create our rectangle. We can create many different shapes here, like a cone, a rectangle, which is basically a plane, a torus, an arrow. Very, very useful. So we're going to create a rectangle here. And right now it snaps to the surface or snap to the grid. So what this means is, like, for example, if I have a box here and I click here, I'm snapping to the grid. But if I snap to the surface, I will snap to the normals of this one. That means that if I choose the box here, I will snap to the normals of this one. So both methods are valid depending on what kind of thing you want to use. In my case, I will just snap to the grid and I will create a rectangle and I click OK. And then click complete. And now I have my rectangle. And what I'm going to do is to scale it, like press Shift F1 to remove the modeling toolset here. And then click the grid mode to, let's just put it on 0, 0, 0. And then let's just scale it by maybe 20. Or maybe, let's just delete this one for now. Maybe 30. I don't know. Okay, let's just start with 20. So what I want to do is to put some material here so I can have my ground material. So I went into my Quixel content. If I press Control Space here, I have all my content here, and I can go to my Quixel here, bridge. I have some surfaces I have bring into my content browser already. So I don't download them right now, which is my internet's pretty bad. Actually, this is not recording from my screen. This is recording from Skype. That is
Yeah.
sharing my screen. Yeah. First world problems, I guess. Third world. I don't know how to call it. So we have this plane. So what we're gonna do is to go to our materials here in Megascans and then choose my material instance here. And we're gonna choose the surfaces. So we can play with it to see what kind of surface I want to create for my ground. This one looks really nice for the ground, but the texel densities are a little slow. Actually, you can check it here if you go to optimization, required texture resolution, and you go to here, you can choose which texture we're using in this mesh. In this case, I can choose a diffuse. And you can see if I go close like this, it goes red. And the reason is the resolution is not high enough. I can either import a higher resolution or I can scale it down a little bit or make it tile. Both are okay. In my case, I'm gonna scale it maybe like this. So I can have a smaller surface, or maybe 5. Okay, maybe. Okay, 5 looks okay, I think. And it's snapping to the grid. Everything works perfectly. And what I want to do is to put some displacement here to have a ground that I can use in my environment. So very easy. I'm gonna go to my modeling toolset. And the first thing I want to do is to add some triangles here. And the way I'm gonna do this is go to my mesh operations and click remesh here. And by default is 5,000 triangles. You can change like which kind of smoothing method you want. The mix by default works perfectly. And of course, we're having the edge constraints here. So this looks like a fair amount of polygons to work with. So let's just click accept. Okay, and what I want to do is to create some geometry here. And I'm going to do that by using the displacement options. If I go to here to deform, I'm going to have the option to displace. And by default, it will load a little bit because I'm having 4 subdivisions here. And you can see what it's doing. I'm going to reduce this like 2, have less subdivisions. Okay. You can see how many triangles they have. And this looks fairly okay. And the reason it looks like that is because you are using a purling noise. We can change the type of noise here by sine, something like that. Very interesting results. You can
Whoa.
change the wave like 0.5, 0.4. Really interesting, actually. You can play with this too. Or you can have something very small to have like a something like that if you want. But this is not what I'm looking for. You can also have like random noise, which is basically random noise. And the purling noise, it's very common. So you can add different frequencies like 0.5 here or 0.05, 0.01, like the big shapes, and then go to the next one and then put one here or 0.01 and intensity maybe 0.2. You can have something here and you can have some noise. The problem of this thing is that the noise doesn't really match our texture. So what we're going to do is to use a texture 2D map. And by default, we don't have any texture. So what we're going to do is to choose the texture that comes with our surface. So if I go here, and let me put this up, and I go here, click browse to check my material. Here I have some textures here. I download the 4K. Let's see if this one has displacement actually, because this one looks like it doesn't. Okay, so let's try to download a super high quality one, or maybe we can try to find something that has a displacement texture here. So let's go to our Quixel bridge. Which one are we using? Rocky Cliff. Okay, maybe we're using these ones. And we're going to download okay, so for the newer versions of Quixel, you have high quality and highest quality. So the highest quality is obviously the most updated textures that are available. Let's see if one of these has the highest quality, which I didn't download. So let's try to find one. And actually, let's just go through these ones. All this is like the ambient occlusion, and we're not using the displacement anymore. This could work as a displacement actually, but not really. We could try, but let's just see. So if I go to my rocky cliff, click this one, and then go here, yeah, you can see it really doesn't work as expected. So let's just try to choose another texture which has the displacement available. And let's go to home, surfaces, and maybe choose one of these. Okay, so let's just try this one. Downloading highest quality.
Not only high quality, it's the
Wow,
highest
nice.
quality.
900 megabytes. Clearly, everyone is talking about buying a new hard drive or SSD these days because it's just not enough anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, download this one with the highest quality. Actually, I already have it, I think. Yeah, let's put the highest quality here. Mood Rock Cliff. So let's see if we have it here. Are these having the same names here? Just put the materials. Oh, reset filters. Gonna put the static mesh and then material instance. Okay, none of those come with the displacement. Let's just use this one, which is very strange because the displacement is the most important texture when that you want to have in your arsenal. Okay, so this is a cliff, but it doesn't matter. Let's just check how it looks like. Material instance. Which one? Can you spot it? Maybe this one. So apparently we don't have any displacement anymore. Is that true? Let's go to files.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, is there any way to know inside the bridge before downloading?
There used to be a way to check the textures, but they changed the bridge.
Oh.
So let's just check if one of those has a displacement. Apparently none of them. Let's just check one of the older ones maybe. Let's go to surface. Maybe this one. And then download the highest quality again.
Hmm.
So apparently we don't have a displacement texture for this one. So there's no way we can use it. Let's just try with this one and see if this one has a displacement now.
Do you have a previously downloaded material just to know how it looks, displacement texture, while while the one while the one you want downloads?
I should have in another project. So let's just cancel this one. And yeah, very, very sad. We don't have the displacement now. So let's just, what's highest quality at? Let's just check the content browser, Rocky Sand. I have a feeling that this one has it.
Come on.
Yeah. I remember okay, this one doesn't. I remember they used to have a mask for this, and they come with a mask. Anyway, so I feel you can use a Quixel mixer to actually export the displacement of this one. Let's just check. I think I could just open another project where I have some textures here, like this one, content, Megascans, surfaces. Yep, those are 2K, but could work. I'm not sure if it's gonna work because it's like this has a different asset, and they may have updated it. So I'm gonna just copy. Hopefully it works. Speed level, content, Megascans, surfaces, and then ding. Okay. So let's just put this one. Apparently it works. Ha! It doesn't have a parent mesh. Let's try to find a parent for this one. The parent, we're gonna choose this one. I'm gonna put it here. And then for this one, we're gonna choose the parent. Surface material. Okay. So this one is 2K, but just to show the example, you can go to the modeling tools and you can displace. And instead of using this one, we're gonna use our displacement here. So we just put this one here. And just by doing that, all my rocks are actually displacing along the texture surface and not just some random noise. So I can change the displacement to be like 5 or something like that, more subtle, or I can put like 8. So that's something really, really, really cool. And the cool thing about this is like, let's just, we can click accept, and let's nanite this. Enable. Okay, looks ready. So the cool thing is like you can just duplicate this once and then just duplicate those. And all this will match perfectly because of the vertices are in the same position. So if I create like a collision here, I can put something like this. Then I can play my game here. If I can find it. Okay, here it is. Nope, not this one.
You managed to glitch your.
Wow.
Yeah, there is the part that is really early access.
Yeah, this is really early access. So let's just open it again. Some Chinese message telling me I shouldn't use this version. Okay, it happens. But that's really a cool way to create the meshes. So let's just open our level here because we didn't lose it actually. Okay, so now that we are here, actually we can play. Whoops. Let's just play here with the camera location. We hit play, and now we have a ground here. And it's very nice. I mean, you don't need to model anything. Another thing you can use is to, I'm not sure if this is gonna work actually, but I can try to use my blueprint for the splines. I have a blueprint here I like to use to create ropes. So if I go here, blueprints, I have my rope here. By default, I'm using this asset that I also created using the modeling tools. It's just a cylinder. And what I can do is just drag here and just create a rope here. And I can move into different directions. It's like very, very cool blueprint. So what I'm gonna do is to use it, but let's just try to use this one. So I'm gonna go here and maybe change the name to ground rock 01. Okay, and maybe it works, but let's see. Let's just change the mesh. I believe I need to go to my blueprint and change this spline mesh. I can actually put it as a variable, right?
Yes. But
Here, right. Promote to local variable. Is it like the right way to use it?
Explain. You would need, instead of adding a component, that component should be in the components tab, because you that the, oh well, you could also just drag a set static mesh instead of a variable, and
So this one.
no, delete that from the return value.
Okay.
Yeah, from the return value, drag and drop. Yeah, from there, put set static mesh.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one.
But actually, this spline mesh is using a static mesh here.
Yeah, but you want to set up another one, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So no, you need to put that first. Yeah, there, and the new mesh there, you can make it a variable. That, yeah, that one.
Oh, I see. I see. So promote to local variable, and this will be static mesh. Let's just put it static mesh. No, better not. My new static mesh. Okay, let's just delete this variable. And for this one, I will use my ground. Well, actually, I have a lot of grounds, so I would just put this one, maybe. Great. So I guess I need to put the forward axis to X. Okay. And the other thing is that this mesh is not using this material, so I'm gonna go to the static mesh editor. Then I'm going here. Then I'm gonna put this one like that. Okay. So now I can have something. First, I can scale this like maybe 3 or maybe 5. I don't know. And we can actually use the mesh to create like a path. It's not exactly working exactly nice here, but
Well, spline
it
meshes
works.
deform that way.
And I want to make this sure this static mesh is public. Where is the eye?
Oh, right. You need to scale your panel. Like give it
Really?
a little more space. No, to the right. Oh, if it's not there, then it's in the details panel.
There's the details panel.
Yeah, the drop down arrow. The last one, the last one.
This one?
The after category, that arrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's called. Oh, it's not there.
Early access, I guess.
No, it's called instance editable, but
But it's not there.
yeah, it's not there. That's
Anyway, just gonna use my old rope here and click OK. And then my forward axis C. And let's just not use it for now. But in any case, like if I want the ground, I can just duplicate this one and just continue doing this. I can actually group it.
oh, there was a question in the comment section. Well, in the live chat, it said, "How can we achieve that natural randomness in the environment? Should it include the hand placement of assets, or should it be more procedural?"
Well, obviously you get the best results by hand place assets, but for hand placing assets, I think we'll do this later. But normally you just want to use like this old trick that is like big, medium, and small. So let's say you have a rock like this. In order for this to look naturally, you need something that looks a little bit smaller. So I'm gonna use another color, maybe something like this. Okay, next to it, and maybe some others around it. And then you want other ones that look even smaller, like these ones, like pebbles or something. And you can put it here or here to sell the scale. And then maybe you want your material in the ground to be even smaller, something like this. And it's around here. So by using this formula, you actually get a very natural result of everything if you hand place the stuff. So that's a good way to, that can be a good way to do it. And obviously, if you use the scatter nodes, you don't get control, but also you can get very happy accidents, a lot of them. So I will use a scatter as much as I can. And if it doesn't really make the job, then I can just go back to my, go back and place manually. But I will use the scatter first and then use the manual placement because it takes a lot of time to place all these assets. Another method that is, I find is the best of both worlds is just using the blueprint here. I showed this in another video, but if you go to blueprints, I have some blueprints here for the ground and some for the walls, something like this, where it's easier to hand place and have control over where you want your assets to be. Something like that. And then you can edit the blueprint and you can have like a lot of variations to populate your level. And you can do the same with the ground, like something like this, like a platform here. So if I play here, I can already have something here. And you can even like create other variants of this. So if I go to my platform, I can duplicate. And this will be my platform 2. I can go to my viewport and all of this, let's just see which one we're using here. Probably this one. Nope. I believe I called the platform. Yeah. Okay. So you could duplicate these ones, like platform 2, and then maybe scale it, something like that. Rotate it, have some variation here. and then scale it a little bit here. And then you have another variation. Actually, let's just not rotate it because it's using some things here. Let's rotate a little bit, just like that. Okay. You can have something like this. And this one, you can actually scale it. Nope, not this one. Let's go find our platform. Then scale like this. Maybe not, just like that. And then with this one, it's very easy to create another variation of this ones. Like, just put it here, and then, and if you see a hole, don't worry, you can always put another one here. Okay, so basically what you want is just big, medium, and small pieces on everything, your textures, your meshes, everything. For some reason, my computer is very slow now. I don't know why, but yeah, let's just try to open a new level. Okay, let's play. Okay, so let's start with the fun part. So when you create an environment, you want to block as fast as possible some things. And let's just use some meshes to keep it simple. We can actually create a blueprint and all that, but that will take some time. So now I have some ground here. I can, is it because of my mesh or Unreal? Because it's really, really slow actually. And I try to open a new level and it's still slow. So I'm gonna, I'm gonna reopen it.
Yeah. Otherwise, a new level.
Yep. Yeah, it's still slow. Oh, I know what. Maybe it's I'm using a laptop, so let's just put full speed here and yeah, that should work. Yeah, that was it. Okay, so when creating an environment, you want to, the reason why this looks boring is because it's very flat, and you want to add some verticality elements into it. And to do that, let's just start with some big shapes. So I have a collection here that I can use. Like here, I have my big cliff. It's like if I drag this one, I will have some big shapes here. And I can just duplicate this one and block out how big I want my environment to be. So let's just say I just want to use this area for now. And let's just keep it like that. The bigger the environment, the longer it takes, unless you use like some kind of procedural stuff to place elements. So let's just block as fast as possible our environment. We're gonna have some meshes here. And actually, I'm going to use some kind of, yeah, I'm gonna use like a reference on the other screen to try to copy that. And if you have no idea what to create, let's just create another mesh and copy another mesh from other 3D model and try to imagine how it would look like in your environment. So you can do that. Okay, so you have something like this, and then you can keep blocking. We can close it like this, actually, if we want. Maybe. Okay. So we can add another one. This one. These glyphs are amazing, actually. They're a really, really nice addition to the tool set. So let me delete those. This one looks nicer. And actually, I'm not gonna use this ones. Let's just delete those. And if you're worried about like you're duplicating meshes and people are gonna notice what you're using, it's just the beginning that is like that. Right now we're having many duplicated meshes, but as I add more things, for example, I can add this one here, just as an example. We're breaking the repetition here, so it's easier for us to not get notice of these issues. So here, just gonna do something like this, then duplicate it just as fast as possible. And actually, I'm gonna narrow this. Okay, gonna make it narrow. So I can have something like this. And what I'm missing here is I'm missing some verticality. Every time create environment, you can have something like this. So okay, you place your big elements here, and you have something like this. And the reason is not looking good is because I don't have other vertical elements. Everything is too flat. And this goes along with other principles of level design. Like if you have your player here and you have like this, and this is the goal, this is boring. But if you make something like this, just a little bit, and this is the goal, and here's your player, then this one is much more interesting than this one. So adding vertical elements is what gives a nice look into our scene. So we're gonna do that now. And the way we're gonna do that is just have some meshes here. Let's just have our medium cleave, maybe one of this. Actually, this one is very big. So what we're gonna do is to scale these ones to be even bigger so that the other one looks smaller. It's like the episode of The Simpsons that says like he wants like strong people and weak, strong guards and weak guards, and they want next to each other so that the stronger ones look stronger and the weak ones look weaker. So this is what we're doing now. So this one, if I hide this one, okay, this is big, but if I have something like this, it may seem like bigger. So what I want to do is to create a path like this, like a vertical path. And I'm going to do that like this. Okay, just like that. And we can actually add other vertical element here in this area. If we place something like this, we can have something like this, and we can duplicate this one. And we can have a shot like this, where we can see from the up view. And what we can do here is actually make this one bigger to follow the sim-sum strategy. And this one's, because it's a group, it's easily, we can just duplicate it just like that. Okay, so this one, we're gonna move it like this, and we can actually keep extending this one something like this. a little bit of overdraw, but if you check Nanite and then just check overdraw, it's not as bad as it looks. So, and again, we're just doing this for the looks. And actually, this one, the reason it doesn't look like as good as it should is because I have been using the very low resolution one. So if we want, we can actually download the high resolution. So we can actually do that right now. Let's just open Pixel Bridge. It's called Massive Coastal Cliff. Just like that. I'm gonna download the Nanite version, which happens to be very heavy again. We will replace them later.
While we wait, we had a question. It says runtime virtual texture. Is it supported in Unreal 5?
Yeah, actually, I haven't used it here. Uh, enable virtual texture support is a heavy feature that it goes along with Nanite and this method, where it's heavily used in Valley of the Ancient. Is that the name of the super huge project that no one can download these days? And it's using virtual textures to. It goes along with the Nanite. They work perfectly. It's like everything works perfectly with Lumen, Nanite, and the virtual texture is like using because Nanite is virtual geometry, and it's just faster. So actually, for every project, I will highly recommend to enable this one. Uh, I think it's one of the reasons why uh, you should use Unreal 5. Just use the virtual texture. Let's go to our bridge. So it's downloaded. Let's go to our local. Then choose the Nanite and click Add. Very easy. Like if you want to, if you're creating a game, you're like the rest of the normal people that doesn't have too many disk space, too much disk space, just go here. Yeah, did I download the same one? Okay, so I download another one, I guess.
Oh man,
Or no, no. Is it this one?
should be.
Oh yeah, it's this one. So let's just right click, enable Nanite. I'm not sure if it's the same one, but if it's the same one, it will work like a charm. Like you can just use the low resolution version all the way and wait until the end to choose the Nanite and just replace all of those with the static mesh.
We had another question. It says, I use Gaia and World Creator for making the large scale terrain, but then placing assets or just making the natural randomness doesn't seem to be possible. So, can you do something similar? Or, well, how would you try to resolve that issue?
The problem with terrain is that it doesn't give the all the all the solutions. So normally when you have your terrain, let's just put a green one here. You have something like this. Let's just put another example. This is terrible. Something like this. You say this is your terrain. Uh, usually these areas are very low poly, these transitions. And while this part may be okay because the player will walk here, these plateaus are nice, but this this area is not so nice. So what you do normally is just to put some assets here to blend the terrain. The terrain by itself won't do all the work. This is why virtual texturing is so important, so that you can blend your assets easier. So if you have your terrain, then putting some assets on top of it will make the blending much easier. Okay, let's check if this is the same one. Okay, it's not the same one. Let's try to find it. Okay, I believe it's this one. I saw the grass. For sure, it's this one. Apparently, I have more than one massive Nordic coastal cliff. One, two, three.
You really like those Nordic coastal cliffs.
Everyone is using them, so why not?
Um, we had a question in Russian. It said, well,
You're translating, right?
yeah. Google Translator says that the question is, and if you use these megascans in games, how will they affect performance?
Uh, well, as far as Unreal Engine 5, the performance is going very well, even with the high resolution meshes. This one is not high resolution, but we will change it. The only problem is that this disk space of the game will be higher. So eventually everyone will have more disk space, but just consider that the amount of time that takes to render a surface that very few triangles with one with a lot of triangles is basically not there. It's not a difference anymore. I mean, Nanite solved all those issues, so do not worry. But I'm not sure if my answer will can be translated into Russian.
I mean, hopefully, most of the tutorials on the internet and most of the information is in English. So yeah, we aren't even native speakers. So yeah, I believe we're all in the same bag that if you want to learn a lot, you need to know English for now, and then maybe Chinese if you really want those secret tutorials.
Yeah, I remember I thought it was a joke where I hear in the university that you need to learn Chinese.
Yeah.
I totally regret my decision.
Well, someone asked what is your hardware?
I remember there was a way to check it. Uh, I have i7, blah blah blah, with 2.6 something.
Chinese characters.
Yeah, and 32 gigabytes of RAM and RTX 2070, I believe. Okay, so it finished. So now this is the magic. Watch this. Notice that the disk space for this one is huge. So if you want to replace all of those, one way to check it is just select and select all with the same material. And I will select all of those. And then I'm going to replace it with this one. Click this and then replace. And look at this. Now we have the high resolution model in all my meshes here. So I can make justice to Unreal 5. Before we were not using that. Yeah, let's continue. Um, so you can see that now that I have this vertical element, my scene looks much better. Even if you can see I hide those, I really lose a lot of things. It looks very flat. But once I put them here, it starts to look much better. So what I'm gonna do is to keep adding those vertical elements. So I'm gonna go to this huge cliff here and maybe put this one here. Is it the same one? If it's not the same one, it's very similar. Okay, so I'm gonna put this one here. I'm gonna scale it a little bit here and I'm gonna put it like that. Later on, we can worry about the ground. And what we can do is actually select this and move them here and rotate them. Just like that. And I would put them here just to have some verticality. And then I will duplicate this one. And then duplicate this one again here. Just like that. So I'm going to select these ones and then just like that. Can have something there. What I can actually do is go here and duplicate this one like that. Or this one looks like a little bit off, so I'm going to move this one like this. Okay, so now that I have this, is much easier for me to have more vertical elements in my scene, and I can keep going. Actually, I think I'm gonna move this one here, just like that. Just rotate a little bit. I think it's too much. Rotate like 180.
Oh, someone asked if you are a level designer.
Uh, I am a level artist. I do level art for a living, and right now I'm working in Ubisoft since the last 2 years. So yeah, um, I think I've been using Unreal for 2012 since Unreal 3, and and then just study many things when I just start, and then just at the end I choose the focus of level art to have it as a as a specialist. But actually, like if you're going indie or something like that, then I will advise to learn more things. Like going AAA is not the only option.
Yeah, and learning a lot of stuff makes you, well, exposes you to more knowledge, and it's easier to know which part of developing a game do you like the most, and it's easier to specialize if you
Yeah,
wanna go that route.
yeah. There are some people that love to be a specialist. Uh, so other people like to do many other stuff. Uh, but I'm more of the philosophy that specialization is for insects. So like if you learn more things, you're actually more valuable like in a smaller company. But if you go to Ubisoft or any other big company, then you will need to do very specific things, and you need to be very fast at doing them. One of my favorite artists using Unreal is Victor Oma from Quixel. I think I follow him several years, like 5 or 6. He's always had a very nice. He's very fast with Unreal. It's something uh, that I admire a lot, and that's what you will call a very nice specialist. He's very he's very good at what he does, and now he works at Epic. Right. So, uh, what I have now is just like a small environment. Like I can have some verticality here. I'm lacking some elements of focal point. And normally, what you will want to have in your environments, and what I'm thinking about this one, is every time you create an environment, you want to use lines that guide the player to go from one objective to another. These lines are actually not real. Like in 3D, lines are usually the distinction between different surfaces. For example, this part is light and this part is shadow, and we can see a line here, which is actually a shadow. So what we do actually is create those lines by using lining. So you can have control of your lining, but if you don't, you can try to find those lines with the surfaces. You can clearly see them here. Like every time you create an environment, check the forms and the shapes they form, not actually the real object. So you can see I have a line that goes like this, and I have another one that goes like this. So if I check my map here, if I put it here or if I put this one here, I want to create some lines that guide my eye to go from one objective to another. I have this one, I have this one, I have this one, and I stop here. And I want to stop here because I want to put like a focal point here. For example, I want to put like a statue, or I have some assets here that I can share in the description, and some like alien or something like sculptures. And actually, you can use many things. So what you want now, your objective as an environment artist is to guide one player from one objective to another. You use this by lines and by putting a focal point. So for example, I already have this somehow, but I have these lines here that are pointing to this direction like this. So it will be very easy for me to put my focal point here so that the player always see here. And I can obviously emphasize that if I rotate this and make it more extreme, or if I make this one bigger, just like this, I can create like a floor here. Let's try to create something very fast. Maybe something like this. We can put it here. By the way, this is not a good way to create games. This is just to show off some pretty environments, but it's not really something you want to do when creating a game. When creating a game, you want to use more level design tools and test more things before going here. I don't even have collision, so just keep that in mind. And I can use this piece here to let's check if this one works. I can actually, if you want more variation, I can scale this by -1, and I will have the same piece but mirror. This is very cool. Maybe this works. I don't know. For me, it's too noisy, so maybe just put something like this might be better. Okay. And even if this, the cool thing about Lumen is that you can just hide things and the lining will update automatically, like this one here. All the lining updates on real time. This is really great. So right now I have a very symmetrical composition where all my sides look almost the same. So what I want to do is to vary it a little bit later, but for now we're going to use, I have some assets here. Let's just open another window, content browser here, and I'm gonna use my monster pack, which is I download for free in ArtStation. I put a link in, I'll send a link to RAM here actually, where I can have my library. Creatures free, view details. I will send to you so you can put it in the
chat
description
yeah.
here. Yeah. This is for free. These are some really cool sculptures that you can use. I already used Nanite on these ones. And I apply some textures into it. So maybe I can use this one here. Maybe this one. And I can put it here and I can scale it maybe by 10 or 15. And I can put something like this. Put maybe a little bigger, 25. And I can move this one here. And I can move this one here. So this gives me a really nice focal point in this area. And let's just try to move this one here so we can actually see this verticality like this, something like that. Just this one here to have some variation. And the way I create this one is very easy. Let's create one from scratch. So I already activate Nanite for these ones. Let's just try to find one that looks really nice. There is one that looks amazing. And let's see if I can. Oh, this one looks really cool, actually. You know what, actually, now that we're checking the horns, let's just put them here. And let's just scale it by 25, maybe. Something like that. Yeah. Let's just put it like this. Maybe 10. Very cool. So what you don't want is to have this cool shape and put it here like this. You see what the problem is here is that we don't have the silhouette. Why this one stands out so much is not because it's a super cool creature, but because we can actually see the shape here, like this. And we're creating shapes. It's like we're painting. But this one is blended with the environment, so the big shape is here. And this one is being lost. So if you want to put this one like this, make sure you put it in a place where you can see it. I can put something like this maybe. And you can move it here like this. And then you can see the silhouette, or you can put it like this and, just play with it. So you can have something like this very cool in the distance that you can use. Just make sure anything you put, make sure it serves the purpose of looking at here. So if this one is too distracting, just delete it. So I'm going to create one of those. Let me find something really cool. Must be someone that looks really nice. I remember it. It looks pretty cool, but we're not gonna use it. Okay. Oh, this one must be great. Now we can actually, let's just choose this one, for example. And when you grab this mesh, if you want to try to follow along, this mesh by default doesn't have any UVs, and the pivot point may be wrong. So what you can do is go to the modeling tools. I'm gonna save all. Okay. So now that I save all of them, I can do some things. If the pivot point is not in a position I really want, I don't need to go outside the Unreal to change it. I can just use the modeling tools. If you don't have it, remember, just go to plugins, modeling tools, editor mode, enable. Then you will have it. And I go to my transform, and I'm going to change the pivot point. And here I have some options. I can put it in the center. I can put it in the bottom, top, left, right, back, or origin. I can actually move it here. I can put it in the left, or I can adjust it. I can put it anywhere I want. So to the left looks like the most obvious place for me to put this one. So I will click accept. It will take some time. Actually, after I've been using the modeling tools since 4.26 extensively, and it just takes more time to do it in Unreal 5 every time you accept. Maybe it's because of the density of the mesh. That can also be. So what we're gonna do is to put some material. So I have one cowl material here. Can use this one. And the reason it doesn't look like this is because I don't have UVs. So I can actually do the UVs inside. I can click project UVs here. And now you can see I have my UVs. And I can scale this. And if you can see, if you want to check the checkerboard, you can just like this. Or you can just keep original. Or you can change like a cylinder or a plane or a cube. In my case, the cube works okay for me, so I don't need it, and I don't need any other. I can actually scale this one like this if you want to change the UVs. But for now, for our purposes, this one just works as fine. And you can just change the checkerboard density or whatever. So now that I have this, just click accept. And I can actually put any kind of material I want. I can put my cliff here if I want. Let's try to look for something very cool, like surfaces, material instance. Maybe, I don't know, maybe this one. We can have something like this that blends with the environment. So you can go here. And you can have something like that. Okay, and I can use the same here, actually. I can Let me try to do something crazy. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna duplicate this one. I'm gonna use the modeling tools for that. I'm going to transform. It used to be in transform, I believe. Mesh operations, UVs, volumes. It used to be in transform where you could duplicate these meshes. So what you can do actually is just like the lattice, or you can just choose these points, and actually you can change the number of points you want to change, and you can actually modify these ones, like check all these points and you can move it, something like that. Or you can have more extreme angles for how you want to do your meshes. Another thing you can do is the wrap. You can actually bend it, which have some artifacts in Unreal Engine 5, I believe. Uh, the preview mode, you can bend it like this and you can have some different options. So let's just try to stick with this one for now. Let's choose just the world view. Then do something like this. Yeah, that looks great. Okay. So another principle we can talk about here is blending. So to illustrate this better, it's like, let's just say you have a mountain here. Like you have like a mountain here, you have the grass and everything. And here you have some trees, something like this, right? You have some trees. Now you will say that, okay, I want to put a house here. So let's put our house. So we put our house here. And there is a problem with this frame. Only the house has a man-made element. Our first element, let's just say, is nature. And the second one is, let's just say, man-made elements. So the problem with this one is that I don't have anything to blend between these two. It's like there is no correlationship between this one and this one. And the reason is I'm just putting the house there and it's just like, it's just there. It's just like nothing here. And how I blend this is just put other man-made elements. I can put some wood here. I can put some other small houses here or other man-made elements here. And now this work together. And you want this for every kind of asset you want to have. In our case, we have like the alien type of thing that we have here. And we also have like the rocky elements. Okay, so we have the alien thing here going on, but we don't have it here. So what we're gonna do is to blend these two, between the alien one and the rock one. And the way we're gonna do it is just putting some assets that are very similar. For example, we can try to put this one here, and we can put a smaller one so that we don't have like a something that grabs the attention too much. I can put it here. Actually, this one doesn't work, so I'm just going here and let's just try to guess that this kind of element grow in the here. like they put some X and I don't know, whatever reason, you can just put him here. You can duplicate this one and put it here like that to have some elements here. And we can do the same when we duplicate it and just put it in another place like this, maybe. And now our environment is blending much better. Yeah, you see that the start has some elements of the alien things and the end has a lot. So this is very cool. So let's just keep adding more of this. I think I have a very cool one here that we can use. I'm not sure if I already UV this, but if not, we can do it very fast. We can just put this one here and then use the UVs. And let's just put the cow material. Actually, I did UV this one. So I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna click the cow. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is to place it like this. Something like this. It's like you don't want to come here, and you can actually scale it like that. Actually, let's just put it somewhere else. We can try to put it here, maybe. Let's just try to scale everything uniformly again. And let's just try to put it here. Yeah, just like that. Cool work. And we can actually have it here. So one of the problems that you can have when you create an environment is that when you put something that looks really nice and have a very unique shape like this, you may find that it's very unique and it's grabbing a lot of attention, and you don't want that. So the way to fix this is to repeat the elements. For example, if I'm painting something, and let's just say this is my canvas, and I have everything is a square, and suddenly I have a circle here, the circle stands out the most because it has a different shape. But when I put other circles here, it stops having relevance and it's not unique anymore. Like you're not the coolest kid in the school anymore. Just one guy, same as the other ones. And that can happen when you place assets like this. So when creating these things, just make sure that when you put them, try to duplicate them. This will also help the player to understand that this is not very unique and can not there is not much importance here. So let's keep going. Let's just add more alien elements before moving into the next part. Maybe this one here. So let's put it here.
We have some more questions. One of them is, can we sculpt the Megascans meshes in engine so we can make flat surfaces, for example?
I believe it's the same one, the same method I use here, right? Like we use the texture here, and we use the displacement in the modeling tools to create the ground. Or alternatively, you can use the blueprints, and you can have like a ground blueprint like this to populate the ground using instance static meshes. So these are meshes. These are not unique textures. I mean, there are unique textures, but they are not tileable. But this is tileable. So when you duplicate this one will go match perfectly. And now I have the displacement, but if I have like, if I scale this to, let's just say 1 or 0.1, this is like the flat version. And it still works. I mean, of course, it won't tile here because it doesn't match the same height. But here it will just work just as nice. But you know, too many polygons can have some issues here. But this is the idea. You can use landscapes too, which is what I would recommend if you're making a game.
And the next question was something like that. So, the next question was, so I guess a small Call of Duty map could be made with Nanite and Megascans, but not an adventure game like Drake's Uncharted.
I mean, Megascans are just assets. They're just tools you can use to create your own environments. You are not forced to use Megascans to use Unreal. Of course you can, and that will save you a lot of time. But these are just some high quality assets made by professional artists that they don't only scan the surface, they actually polish it and make it game ready. That can take a lot of time to create. This is why Quixel has a team dedicated for doing that. But if you're making like an adventure game or something like that, you can use any kind of tool. And actually, you can use Nanite for, you should use Nanite for every kind of opaque surface like this, which happens to be like 90% of the whole map is surrounded by this type of meshes that are static, like maybe 90%. So uh, you can use Nanite if you want. You should use Nanite, but you're not forced to use Megascans. You can use anything actually.
Nice. Oh, there was a tutorial request also. Um, Tutorial request converting Megascan assets into stylized look.
We could do something like that, but I believe there are a lot of tutorials for that already. One thing about the stylus, I can make a very quick tip. Uh, just look at this high frequency noise here. For stylize, you want to minimize as much as possible. So what you will want is to make the albedo flat. Even if I put a flat surface here, like if I create a material very quickly, let's just go to materials, test, and I create something like this, like base color like this, metallic 0, and roughness like 0.9. If I go here and then just apply this material here, automatically it looks more stylized. Of course, I don't have the normal map, but I can actually use it very fast here. Let's just go to my content browser, materials, open the test material. And here I will grab the normal from this one and just put it here. And now I can put the test here. Let it compile a little bit. And there you go. You have something that looks more stylized because you don't have all this high frequency data. Well, of course, you don't want to do like this, but you want to paint, replace the albedo and also the roughness here. The roughness, you want to be, this is very high frequency, a lot of details. You want to keep it more simple for stylized assets. So just keep that in mind. Stylized is just a simplification of things. All right. There's one more thing I want to add to have like my scene look better. We have, let's just say we have three elements. We have the rock, we have the alien thing, which is very organic, and we need another one. And the reason is 3 is a magic number to have really nice, let's just say, materials in your environment. Let's just say rock, the alien, and maybe some wood or man-made elements. So what I'm gonna do is just create some scaffolding or some wood assets that we can use to say that, okay, let's just put some wood elements here. I'm going to my Megascans 3D assets, and I'm going to look for some wood here. Let's just type wood. And I have some wood planks here. I can use any one of those. Let's just check how they look like. Okay. This one not really convinced me. This one could be, but a little bit too polished. This one looks perfect. Okay. So let's just grab this one. And let's just create some scaffolding really easy. And the way we're going to do that, we can use a blueprint or we can just create this in the editor. I highly recommend to use the blueprint. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay, let's just create a blueprint anyway. So let's create a blueprint and let's just call it, create an actor, BP, wood, scaffolding. I don't know if that's right, but get the idea. So in my blueprint, I'm just gonna add like a static instance static mesh. And I'm gonna put my wood here, which is this one. And the reason I don't see any is because I haven't really add any instance here. So I'm gonna add it here. Okay. And way I'm gonna treat it is I'm just going to add more of this and let's just like 10, 100, then rotate it a little bit, just like this. And maybe I can, how do I duplicate? I forgot. Oh, there you go, duplicate.
Yep. Yeah, you found it.
And then I will just do something like this. Gonna go crazy. Actually, it's gonna take some time doing this to create the scaffolding. So let's just do it on engine. I'm just gonna duplicate this one and put it like this. Rotate a little bit. You don't want all the assets to look like the same. And you can, let's just hide this one for now. We can actually create a blueprint after we create this one, but I believe it won't be instance static meshes. So we can just rotate this once, and then can do something like this and change the scale of this one like this. Can put it like this and remove the scaling for now. We can put something like this and rotate a little bit, just like that. And we can just duplicate here, move it a little bit, scale, and then use the same one here to add more stuff. We just want to add some noise for now. We can refine later. But for now, for the purpose of this demo, we're just going to make it very quick and dirty. Okay, we can have something like this. And actually, we can move this one like this to have like more assets. Let's just keep this one. So right click here, select, and select all with the same material, which happens to be this one. And let's just put it somewhere here, like maybe here. And we can group this one and duplicate it and rotate it a little bit here, just like this. I have some wood here, and we can put the same one here. Like we can, of course, you can create so many things with this, and you can be creative and just duplicate those and create like different structures you can use. This is the problem of using groups, is that the scale doesn't work as nice. So just keep that in mind. And we can do the same here. Rotate it. So we can have some wood assets here that look really nice. Okay, and continue to do this. Add more noise. Let's just say there is a structure here that they want to build. So let's just add the rotate like this. You can duplicate like this to add some noise. This is just to add noise. So here you can just duplicate those like this to have something nice. And of course, it's better to use it in the blueprint, do it in the blueprint so that you can modify this mesh and you can have like all the instances modified at the same time. So let's just scale this like this. Just like that. This one we will put something like this. Okay. I believe we need like more assets here. Like, the good thing about this is that we can have some different shots. Like we can have a shot from here and a shot from here, and we can showcase this map like from different angles. So let's just duplicate this one and move it here. Okay. You can add more chaos, like rotating this a little bit. Just like that. So another thing we can do is to use our spline here, the BP rope we have. We can add our rope here. And actually, I'm going to put a character here to check the scale. So I'm going to use my UNF-Nite meshes, not schedule mesh. I'm going to put this guy here. Okay. Looks like this one is on scale actually. So what we're going to do is to connect these two and have some lines that point into this direction. Remember, it's all about lines. It's not really what you put, it's how you put it and in what direction you put it. So if I want this one to go from here to here, just like that. And I'm just gonna add some points here. Add the spline point, add another one here, and another one here. And of course, you can move these ones like this. You can add another spline point here, not here, but here. And you notice that my texture is stretched. It's because I don't have enough points. But as long as once I do this, then I have all my points here. So what I'm gonna do is to put them down like it's being affected by gravity. Just like that. And let's just put this one here too. And maybe another one. Okay, just like this, and let's make sure it doesn't collide. And we can put more assets here to add more resolution. Can put something like this, and we can actually connect this part with another spline. So let's go to our blueprints. Can use my rope here. Let's just say it starts from here and just move it here to the final position. Let's just say this one. Not too long. Just move this one here. Okay, this one looks like looks enough. So what we're gonna do is just add spline point like this. And you can already see how much it adds to your scene. It's super nice way to add different elements. Just put it down like the gravity is affecting it. Okay. We can add another point here to check the resolution. Add another one here. Okay. I'm not sure if this is like naturally accurate, where it looks like the gravity is affecting it a lot. Also, we need to do some connection here. We can do that super fast. We can just go to our modeling tools and we can create a torus here. Just like this. Actually, we're going to create it here. And we can change the radius like 15 or maybe this one to 35, 40. Maybe something like this. I'm going to put the snap to grid. Snap to grid. And sorry, not align to normal. Okay, and yeah, we can just put this one here. So click OK, click complete, and we can just put the rope material here. We can actually do something like this to create my rope. And if, oh, it's combined. So, okay, so let's just combine those and we're gonna scale it for sure. So let's just scale this one. And let's go to our transform and bake scale. You can see that my scale here is 0.1. So if I click accept, everything will go to 1. That means this is my original scale now, just by using the modeling tools. So what I'm gonna do now is go here and change into SM rope attach. Just save everything. And let's just put this one here. This is just very minor detail, but the connection adds a lot to the thing. Say we can put it here like this. Okay, this one looks like it works, so I can just put it like that. And there you have your connection with the rope here and the wood. Uh, very fast, just using Unreal. We don't need to go to any other 3D modeling application or something. We can just do it here, very easy. And I won't do the same there because just will take more time. But what I don't like about this rope is that it's conflicting with my other focal point. So what I can do is either scale it down like this, so it's thinner, it doesn't hurt as much. And actually, if I'm gonna do this, let's just put it again because I'm just gonna create all the points. Let's go to blueprints, rope. We'll put it here. Let's move it here to the right position here where it was before. Ropes are always nice ways to add some verticality to your scene and some really cool variation. What I'm gonna do here is select the blueprint and just scale this one like 0.3, make it very thin. And now I'm going to put it in position here, just like that. Okay, and then I'm gonna add points here. Add another one here. Add another one here, just like that. And now looks much better. I feel like the scale feels better. It doesn't interrupt with my main point of view. So I can just move this one here. Actually, it's very low resolution, but we will never see this from this angle. And if we do, we can just add another spline here, and we will add the resolution. Like this. Okay. And actually, we can make this one smaller. Just a little tiny bit. You can check the overlapping later when you polish your game. And we can have a nice way to use these ropes is like you can use them like this, like put them here, like Actually, let's just start here. Let's just put it here and then just move it like this. Can have some nice variation. Okay, so there is a problem with my spline here. So let's just delete this point, delete this point. Let's just go here and just keep rotating those. Just do it little by little. We don't have any artifact like this. Can rotate. It's okay if just a little bit. And here I can move this one a little bit here. Like now you notice why games take so much time to make. Like my spline is not working right. You can try to rotate this one a little bit. Just try to get something here. And then just go down. And then here, like add another one, add another one. And very easy, I have my spline here. I can actually scale this one to be smaller, just to have some variation here. Okay. One thing we need to do, and with this one we will finish this thing, is that we're going to add some small elements because we don't have. I mean, small elements actually add a lot to your scene. So I have these small assets that I already had before, and I can use them here. Try to use something that actually matches my environment better. I can use these ones here to add more small elements in my scene, just like that. And of course, with the virtual texturing, this will look much nicer. And maybe I can use these ones. I can add some vertical elements here, just like that, and just scale them a little bit. So we have some verticality here going on. Same thing here. And we can do the same for this area here. Yeah, and not everything looks like, the speed leveling videos you see on the internet where everyone finish one level in like 10 minutes. It takes time. Uh, every time it takes time. It's just the nature of things. Uh, this is why companies will hire a lot of artists to finish one level. It's just not real to finish very fast. But actually, in the big scheme of things, like if we are around 2 hours doing this, 2 hours you have something like this in your game. Like man, I can't wait to see what you have in 1 month or two.
We just received a question that it touches on kind of that subject. It says, What skill, according to you, an environment artist or level artist should develop to work in big game companies?
Uh, well, that depends on a lot of things actually. It depends on the kind of company, and it depends on the demand for these things. For example, if you were to learn Houdini now, you will have an easier time to get a job in the industry because everyone is looking for Houdini uh, people. Uh, and you can see what is trending and you can go to follow that. It's a strategy. It doesn't necessarily follow do what you love, but it works. And one of the reasons I recommend this is that you can actually change your specialty later. Even if you choose like to be an environment artist first, you can change it later. So I think one of the skills that cannot be transferred, and it's the art skill. I will focus a lot of my time in training art, like art fundamentals, like learn how to paint, uh, learn how to see, how to do all these things will come very handy in your job. So regardless of what kind of specialty you want to go, if you want to go uh, in a big company, you must have an art skill for an environment artist, and this will help you a lot in the job. It will help you to solve all these things that we have been talking about, like verticality, uh, contrast, composition, lines. These are just little things that you repeat over and over again, and you just learn how to apply these things naturally. This will help you a lot to get a job there because they will see. You can see the work of a guy who uses Unreal but doesn't have a very uh, high skill level in art, and another one who maybe doesn't use Unreal that much. It's not very technical, but his art skill it's very nice. So I think art skills, like traditional art skills, will help a lot. And of course, for big companies, just show the best you can. Look what you can have in ArtStation. Look what is trending, what is popular, what's getting the most amount of likes, and try to match that quality. And once you get that quality, you will get it for sure.
Nice advice. DJ Frost also says, huge fan of your work. Oh, no. Huge fan. You're so good at this, bro.
Thank you. Thank you. It's nothing out of this world, really. Uh, sometimes I have the imposter syndrome, which in my hair a lot, which is I see my work and it's like, man, I suck. But I learned to love myself more. Like just
Oh, and also they ask, how are you not lagging? What PC is this?
what what is this? I'm using a laptop, Alienware. I think I showed my specs before. i7, 32 gigabytes of RAM, and RTX 2070.
Yeah, and a
So
lot of
very
Chinese
powerful.
symbols.
A lot of Chinese symbols. Uh, do not recommend if you don't speak Chinese. So what I'm doing here is just adding smaller elements to my scene to populate. This is actually the funniest part where you just populate everything with things that just look good. And I'm not sure where I'm gonna take this, like which shot I want to have for this one. But one advice, if you are creating like if you are starting to decorate, keep following the same advice, like big, medium, small assets. Like, can't really go wrong with that. It just works so nicely. Gonna drink some water. I feel like I cannot talk anymore.
Well, we have been going like uh, 2 hours and
2 hours.
1 minute.
Right.
So yeah, it's
Not bad.
exhausting. I know.
It is exhausting. That's why the next week is your turn. Actually, I think well, I've been thinking about this, and I think it will be really nice to cover some actual game thing, like for example, a top-down shooter or something like that. And maybe you can do one part 1 week, and then the next week we will maybe do an art pass on it to decorating your top-down shooter or something like that, to have some small mini games that we can showcase how to use Unreal to make games.
That's actually a great idea. Yeah,
I, I don't know
sounds
what I
sounds
don't know what
fun.
you guys think, but I like the idea. Okay, uh, one last touch before we wrap it up. Um, I want to play with the camera a little bit on the lighting. So if I go here to create, I have a camera here. It's Cine camera actor. You can see uh, I can see what it's looking at now. And if I want to possess it instead of perspective, I just choose my new actor here. And this will give me more options to select my shot. I can have many shots actually. That's the beauty of Unreal. Like you can have so many nice shots in one, in just doing it once. Uh, you don't really want to like limit yourself to only have one shot and just leave it like that. So for the details, I can just choose my Cine camera actor, not in my work settings, here my Cine camera actor. And I have some settings here I can play with. One of the most important ones is the focus. So if I change this, you can see I already have my focus here. I can draw the debug here, and I can choose this one. And now everything that is behind it, it will be like blur. So I can actually move it here. And if you check it, I will have like a shot like this. Very cool. You can play with this and to have like a really nice depth of field. And another thing you want to play with is the focal length. You want to put like 62 or something like that. Let's just put something like this here. And then when I get here, I want to check my environment. I can have other kind of angles to check my views. So that depends entirely on what you want to do. In my case, for now, I will just use the default camera because I still want to show some things like the post-processing and some lining. So for the lining, you want to have something that, of course, is interesting, right? But there is a concept in painting that it's called your design matrix. I think I better use this one in Photoshop. So when I create something like this, I can paint something. Let's just say I can put it mostly black or dark here. I can. Let me use one of my Chinese brushes here. This one is nice. So what I can do is just paint this like this. Okay, and I can do some kind of variation like this, and you can see that my painting is mostly black here. Okay, so what this means is that you want to have some contrast here. Like if you see my contrast here, you want your painting to go from white to dark, but you want to have like maybe like 70% is dark and only 30% is white. And to have something interesting. For example, if I were to paint something bright here, you can immediately see this, and you can see that my design matrix is mostly black, but I have something white here, and this is what you want to have here. Of course, is lining in a reel is amazing, so it's easy to fall into the trap where just any lining can make the job, which in this case it does really. But let's just go into detail lining or lining only. Both are okay. So if I go here, I can Control L and change my lining. For example, this is an example of a lining that is very flat, and you don't see much contrast here. And even if I go to my color here, like I just cannot see the lights and the shadows. I want to have the lights and shadows, so I want to put it in a place where I can have interesting lining and shadow. Something like this maybe. This is very flat, for example. But if I go here, I can have those highlights. Or I can have something like this. Okay. Maybe like this. Another trick you can use, let's just check where our sun is. This should be around here. There it is. You can use some of these meshes to cast shadows, like to have interesting shadows. Like for example, I can use this one. I can put it here maybe. Just like that. And what I can do is to grab my shadows and try to put the wood here. So you can see the wood planks here. Actually not really working because I cannot really cast a shadow here. But let's just delete. Yes. And you want to have interesting shadows. So just play with it until you have interesting shapes. For example, it will be really cool to have these things in shadows. So if my sun goes from this direction, I might have a chance to have it. Just like that. Or you can have some streamlining here where it goes from one direction. What you don't want is everything right. You want some parts lit and some parts not lit. This is very interesting, actually. Very interesting shot. You don't want this, but you may want to have something like this. Let's just play with it a little bit more until I have something like wow. Okay, like it could work. Let's just try to play with it a little more. Okay, something like this could work. What I want here, what I'm seeing here when I'm choosing the lights is some kind of interesting shadow like this one's, the wood here, to have some kind of silhouette. And actually, I want the focal point to be here. So what I want to do is to more light and shadow in this area. Something like that. Yeah, maybe something like this could work. Yeah, maybe. But again, you can have many shots. So let's just choose one for now. Okay. We already did a nice job with the environment, so we don't really need to care much about. It cannot look so bad. Another thing you want to do is to play with perspective, and one of the things very often we use is fog. So if we put like exponential height fog, you can already see that I have some really nice fog here, and I can change the color to make it more alienish, something like that. Maybe something like this could be cool. And I can actually put my volumetric fog, and I can just change this one. Just like that. You can see how much it can add to your environment where you add fog here. Have a very mysterious look. We can have something like this, and then we turn it down a little bit. Actually change the color. Color is something very, very subjective, actually. You need to go to follow your gut for this. I feel like this is fine, so I'm gonna leave it like that. And actually change the opacity here. Okay. So before wrapping it up, one way you can take nice screenshots for your environment. We delete the wrong mesh. It's okay. Let's just put it again in position. There you go. Nothing happened. So what you want to do is to go to create a post-process volume, visual effects post-processing volume, and everything you have inside will change. For example, I can search for saturation, and I can put it black and white. And if I change the volume, I will lose it. This is very cool for games when you want to have different moods and feels in different areas. But for us, we're going to change the unbound settings. This will extend to all the environment. So I'm going to keep it black and white for now. And I'm going to my some effects here that I have for the film. And I'm going to play with this. I'm going to play with the slope and the toe. So for the slope, you can see as I put this one down, we can increase the contrast. The more contrasty your image, the more appealing it will be. But actually, if you do something, if it's less contrasty, it will look more real. So if you are going for a very realistic look, then for sure, keep the contrast low. So for this one, we're gonna go back to put our saturation where we can see it in. We can type film, and here we can put the original one. We can increase it to increase the contrast, or we can decrease the contrast completely to have something like more realistic. You can see if I put this one too much, it will break. So you just want to play a little bit with this one. You don't want to overdo it. And you can change the tint, of course, of your slope. Another thing you can use is the bloom. You can increase the intensity of the bloom. This will make it look very fantasy actually, but it's nice. Can have the convolution bloom, but let's just try something crazy. Yeah. Okay, let's just not use this one. Just a little bloom. And then for the exposure, you can change it, like brightness. This will change a lot you're seeing. Like you can change the brightness, and how you're seeing will adapt when you go from one dark place to another, will look brighter. So another one here, chromatic aberration. You want to put this just a little bit. You don't want to overdo it. And actually, I think my roughness is very strong on this one. Let me. Yes, my roughness here. For some reason, the materials from Quixel that are very old don't work with the new material. So we're going to change the roughness here. We're going to change it to maybe 0.8. So now it's not shiny anymore, which is what we want. Okay. Unless, of course, you want it shiny. But let's just go back to our post process. And you can just play with this and have something really nice. Of course, the depth of field, you can change the distance, or you can increase the grain intensity or the big net intensity to have something like this, more like film look. And grain like this, maybe 0.1, 0.2. You don't want to overdo everything. Everything you want to do just a little bit. Saturation, you may want to oversaturate this, or just put more saturation, or go to the more realistic look where you just desaturate it. That depends what you want actually, but increase the contrast. This will make it look more fantasy actually. And the gamma, basically the brightness. Okay. And of course the shadows, and you have a lot of settings actually. For global illumination, you can change the quality. For example, 2 or 1. And of course, we're using Lumen. You can use screen space, but we like Lumen, so we just use screen Lumen. instead of screen space. And ray tracing, by default is 1. If you put like 4, it will be much heavier, but will have more quality. Ray tracing, look level illumination. I think this one we're not using anymore, I believe. The reflections, sorry, reflections you want to put like 4. Like if I put water here, let's just try to find something like meshes. I remember I created some water here. And if you cannot find your folder, just go to the one you want and just change the color here to just another one. You will find it easier. So yeah, I have my water lake here. So I can go to my modeling tools and maybe create a rectangle like this and do not align to normal. Click complete. Okay. Then scale this one like this, and we can apply our lake material. It's very simple one, nothing fancy. And then we can have something like this. And if you want to have more high quality reflections, then you go to your post-process volume to change it. This is a really nice way to add water to your scene. Just be careful, you don't want to make everyone notice that it's a plane. You can just put it there. Okay. You can actually put your sphere reflection capture, which is very important. Visual effects, then go to sphere reflection capture. And for this one, you want to have one big reflection capture for your scene. And then for more high quality shots, like, I don't know, for example, here, if you want a more high quality shot here for your scene reflection capture, you just need to make it slower, make it smaller, and it will have more quality here, but it will be more costly. So other things you can play with is the directional light, or you can actually use window and go to environment light mixer, and you will have all the options to change like the lighting, the exposure, can change like the amount of brightness. For example, this is without in directional light. You can put like 10 or maybe 60, 10,000, it will break. So maybe 65, something like that. That depends on you if you want to go crazy. But for now, let us put it in 10. Can even change the light color to be something like more warm, more bluish. Or you can change the skylight, the intensity. No skylight and skylight 1 or 0, 1.2 or 1. And indirect lighting can have like 1, 4, or just change your sky color to maybe the color of the sky, something like that. We can really play with this and to have something very unique. Something like that maybe. And atmosphere, clip, clouds. Of course, you can change all of those. And distance fields, ambient occlusion. We're not touching those for now. It won't change much. It's just the distance between those meshes. If you want to optimize it, then this one is the right one to use. And of course, planet, like albedo, scattering. This looks very analish. Very cool stuff. So I think that's it for now. Let's wrap it up. If you want to take a screenshot, you can choose something like this, maybe. Let's just move it a little bit. Let's just use it like this. If you want a screenshot, just click here, high resolution screenshot. By default is 1K, like 2K. You can have like this, something like this. And then it will take a screenshot. And then you can see it here, very nice and crisp. So you can just take this one here. Looks like it's taking a screenshot from another angle, but anyway, early access. Okay, we will wrap it up.
Yeah, it has been a good session. Kind of long one. Probably you should be in the mood for resting.
Yes. Finally. All right. So, if you got any idea of which kind of live stream you want to see next, just let us know, and we may do a live stream about it. We will wrap it up here.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us on this stream for creating an environment. It has been quite a journey and a lot of tools that you mentioned. I didn't have an idea of what to do with them or how to use them, so at least for me it was really helpful.
All right. Let's wrap it up.
Okay. Bye everyone.